I just finished editing a video. This lighting makes me look like I have a mustache. And Yumi and Grumpy Cat are gonna read some meditations by Marcus Aurelius. I'm showing my age with the fact that I have a fucking grumpy cat stuffed animal. Wait, that's what I was trying to say. I still only have one hand of nails fixed. I haven't done my other hand yet, so please don't judge me. You're seeing this out of context. I do not normally look this decrepit. Okay. Go sit there, Grumpy. Today we'll be reading out of the Book of Meditations. I actually haven't finished it. I have like a little bit left, but we're gonna start from the beginning because this is such a banger. If you've never read it, you'll start today. I wanted to add some note for context because I forgot to explain the format of this part of meditations. Don't stare at that pimple, you motherfucker. Oh, don't cuss. Anyway. He is writing about different people in his life and what he's learned from them. So whenever I say a name like Sextus or Dionytrus or whatever, I'm starting a new thought. And while editing it, I was like, this sounds like nonsense. So please have patience and keep that in mind. That's the introduction. It's just giving context for who Marcus Aurelius is, but that's not what we're doing right now. Okay. Book 1, Debts and Lessons. I kind of hate how this light makes my skin look, but I'm gonna suck it up and deal with it. My grandfather, Varus, character and self-control. My father, from my own memories and his reputation, integrity and manliness. My mother, her reverence for the divine, her generosity, her inability not only to do wrong, but even to conceive of doing it, and the simple way she lived, not in the least like the rich. My great-grandfather, to avoid the public schools, to hire good private teachers, and to accept the resulting costs as money well spent. My first teacher, not to support this side or that in chariot racing, this fighter or that in games, to put up with discomfort and not to make demands, to do my own work, mind my own business, and have no time for slanderers. Not to Dionytus. Not to waste time on nonsense, not to be taken in by conjurers and hoodoo artists with their talk about incantations and exorcism and all the rest of it. Not to be obsessed with quail fighting or other crazes like that. To hear unwelcome truths, to practice philosophy, and to study with Bacchus, and then with Tandusus and Markianus, to write dialogues as a student, to choose the Greek lifestyle, the camp bed and the cloak. Rusticus, that sounds like a joke. The recognition that I needed to train and discipline my character, not to be sidetracked by my interest in rhetoric, not to write treatises on abstract questions or deliver moralizing little sermons or compose imaginary descriptions of the simple life for the man who lives only for others. To steer clear of oratory, poetry, and belles letters. Not to dress up just to stroll around the house or things like that, to write straightforward letters like the one he sent my mother from sinuosa, and to behave in a conciliatory way when people who have angered or annoyed us want to make up. To read attentively, not to be satisfied with just getting the gist of it, and not to fall for every smooth talker, and for introducing me to Epictetus's letters, and loaning me his own copy. Apollonius, independence and unvarying reliability, and to pay attention to nothing, no matter how fleetingly, except the logos, and to be the same in all circumstances, intense pain, the loss of a child, chronic illness, and to see clearly from his example that a man can show both strength and flexibility. His patience in teaching, and to have seen someone who clearly viewed his expertise and ability as a teacher as the humblest of virtues, and to have learned how to accept favors from friends without losing your self-respect or appearing ungrateful. Sextus, kindness, an example of fatherly authority in the home, what it means to live as nature requires. Gravity without airs, to show intuitive sympathy for friends, tolerance to amateurs and sloppy thinkers. His ability to get along with everyone, sharing his company, was the highest of compliments, and the opportunity and honor for those around him. To investigate and analyze with understanding and logic the principles we ought to live by, not to display anger or other emotions, to be free of passion and yet full of love. To praise without bombast, to display expertise without pretension. The literary critic, Alexander. Not to be constantly correcting people, and in particular, not to jump on them whenever they make an error of usage or a grammatical mistake or mispronounce something, but just answer their question or add another example or debate the issue itself, not their phrasing, or to make some other contribution to the discussion and insert the right expression unobtrusively. Fronto, to recognize the malice, cunning, and hypocrisy that power produces, and the peculiar ruthlessness often shown by people from good families. 12. Alexander the Platonist. Not to be constantly telling people, or writing them, that I am too busy, unless I really am. Similarly, not to be always ducking my responsibilities to the people around me because of pressing business. 13. Catullus. Not to shrug off a friend's resentment, even unjustified resentment, and try to put things right. To show your teachers ungrudging respect, the Domitius and Athenodotus story, and your children unfeigned love. My brother, 14, my brother, Severus, to love my family, truth, and justice. It was through him that I encountered Tresa, Helvidius, Cato, Dion, and Brutus, and conceived of a society of equal laws governed by equality of status, of speech, and of rulers who respect the liberty of their subjects above all else. Imagine that. And from him as well, to be steady and consistent in valuing philosophy, and to help others and be eager to share, not to be pessimist, and never to doubt your friend's affection for you, and that when people incurred his disapproval, they always knew it, and that his friends never had to speculate about his attitude to anything. It was always clear. 15. Maximus. Self-control and resilience to distractions, optimism in adversity, especially illness, a personality in balance, dignity, and grace together, doing your job without whining, other people's certainty that what he said was what he thought. Let me repeat that because I kind of mumbled it together. Other people's certainty that what he said was what he thought, and what he did was done without malice. Never taken aback or apprehensive, neither rash nor hesitant or bewildered or at a loss. Not obsequious, but not aggressive or paranoid either. Generosity, charity, honesty. The sense he gave of staying on the path rather than being kept on it.
Good night. Whack.